Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode here on Eat Sleep Brief. You guys have probably already read the title, so you probably already know what this video is about, but I wanted to make a video on how having no mechanical filtration has worked out for me on this 50-gallon Motorcram reef tank. So before I started, when I got into reefing, especially on my JBJ 45, I was under the impression, again, that was my first tank ever, but I was under the impression that a tank had to have some sort of mechanical filtration, whether it was filter roller, filter sock, or filter floss. Any one of those would have been some sort of mechanical filtration to capture the particles and take them out of the water, right? In my book, what I believed at that time, I didn't think you can run a tank without having any mechanical filtration and the water being crystal clear. The good news is, after running this tank for a good probably 6-7 months, I can tell you with certainty that running no mechanical filtration will still deliver crystal clear water. So for you guys that are aware, I run the Triton method in this reef tank, right? So the Triton method calls for no mechanical filtration. You're probably asking why. Why does the Triton method ask for that? Well, the reason they do that, if you notice the way a Triton sump is set up, you have your drains, main drain, emergency drain. Typically a filter sock would go right there, right? But you bypass that, so the tube continues straight down. In that first chamber, there is Kato, as you're seeing here. Tons of it, right? So the Kato does three things, actually. One thing it does is it exports nutrients. So any nitrates and phosphates are exported by this consuming the nutrients, obviously with pairing it with a light. It consumes the nutrients out of the water, thus taking them out. Number two, and one thing I found that it does very well, you can see once it gets established, this thing literally turns into a huge roadblock. Like there's no way anything is going to pass from the bottom of this through here without getting caught within the Kato. So you're probably saying, why does that matter? Well, the reason that matters, let's say if you have fish food, let's assume about that big, it goes back there and then it gets caught right in the inside of the Kato. What's going to happen is the nutrients are going to start breaking down. As they're breaking down, not only is this thing housing so many pods in there to help break all that down, but as the nutrients are being taken out, guess what's going to consume it almost immediately? This. While it's consuming it, it's also not going to let the particles or the particulates come through the Kato. Why? Because look at how dense that thing is. It's super dense. Not only that, but this also releases, according to Triton, a properly established fuge will also release aminos for your corals. And it's funny, I remember when I would go on the forums, when I'd watch videos, there was a lot of guys that would say keeping gonoporas are very difficult. I wouldn't say very difficult, but they're sometimes difficult. I remember stumbling across a video on YouTube, I forget the title of it, or else I would share it with you guys, but there was a guy that I forgot what the title was, but it was something along keeping a successful gonopora. And he showed his results before he had mechanical filtration and after he had mechanical filtration, literally days apart. His gonopora was just like you see here, huge, extended, super happy. So his theory was that there's more particulates in the water, some that you can't see with your eye, tiny particulates in there, that it not only allows this coral, that coral, just tons of coral to grow a lot quicker because there's more food available to them. Just like in the ocean. I mean, the ocean, when would you see a filter floss, a filter sock, anything of that? You don't, right? You see algae are what break down most of, if not all, the nutrients in the ocean. So I came across that video and I really see exactly how it's able to be done. So if you're worried out there, it wouldn't hurt to try it. If you're worried and wondering if you can run your tank without mechanical filtration, I say you absolutely can, even feeding heavy. Like I said, I really wish you guys could see how heavy I feed this tank almost on a daily basis. It gets so cloudy you almost can't even see the rock. But yeah, so I know for a fact any tank I do in the future, you better believe it's going to have no mechanical filtration at all. Why? Because Why add that level of complexity to a reef tank if it doesn't need it? Again, this is based off my experience. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, for you guys that are wondering if you can maintain a reef tank without any mechanical filtration. I'm here to tell you, yes, it can be done. Not only am I saying it, but Triton method, it's really the only way they recommend you to run your tank. I also want to answer a few questions that a lot of people ask me. A lot of people wonder how the Chaeto grows so big in this reef tank. Well, obviously there's enough nutrients to grow it. That's a pretty obvious one. There's obviously enough light, not only enough light, but the right spectrum of light. And a very important one that I think a lot of people overlook and don't pay attention to, the Triton method itself is targeted to also feed and grow your Chaeto like a monster. So there's additives within the Triton supplements to make sure that your Chaeto grows like it does here. And I mean, let me put my hand in there. Look at this thing, guys. Look, you see exactly what I was talking about? You see all those particulates that just got released up? So all that is getting broken down, and I have some snails in there that also eat it. But all that was trapped, not being able to come up. So you can see how this huge ball, look at this thing. It's an absolutely huge ball. You see that? It's massive. But you guys are able to see exactly what I was talking about, how it acts as a mechanical filtration. Look at that thing. It's literally taking up the whole chamber. The whole chamber is almost full. I would say it's at least, what, a good 60, no, maybe 70%. No, actually, yeah, 70, 80% full. I believe that the biggest culprit, not only the light's obviously very important, having enough nutrients, but again, the Triton method specifically has supplements inside it to make sure that the Chaeto doesn't either kill itself, that it's always able to thrive and stay very, very healthy. So guys, that's going to be it for today's video. I just wanted to give you guys my thoughts on owning a tank without any mechanical filtration. And for you guys that are worried, because I know a lot of people ask me, are you still able to have crystal clear water not running any mechanical filtration? And again, absolutely. Right now there's obviously dust that just came out when I flipped it, but if you would have seen it earlier, it's crystal clear. You would see nothing but just water, no particulates. I also feel that having no mechanical filtration, again, this is just my opinion, allows your corals to be happier. Why? Because there's more nutrients available in the water column for a longer period of time, just like in the ocean. In the ocean, it's not like Mother Nature does feedings from 8 to 9 or from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. In the wild, Mother Nature has particulates, has food available for corals 24/7. There's no feeding time. So I feel not having mechanical filtration kind of allows to replicate that to a certain extent. I'm going to wrap this video up here. I really hope I answered some questions, especially you guys that were wondering about not having any mechanical filtration. Really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them down in the comment box below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you think about mechanical filtration. What are your thoughts? Because everybody does have an opinion, especially in this great hobby. So I'd love to hear what yours is. Leave it down in the comment box below. I thank each and every one of you very much for watching. As always, happy reefing.